Hi, Holly. Hang on, guys. I have the best song for tonight, like no joke. New find. Totally new find. Hey, love. Tell me what you guys think of this one. What's up, babes? What's up? Led by heart. Hi, beautiful. Hi, baby. Just a tenor. New jam right here. I went to a badass conference and this is like the theme song. Check it. Hi, baby. Hi, Bella. Forza. What's up, Casey? What's up, Sarah Ford? What's up, Wildflower Ari? Hey, love. Led by heart, you know I'm always celebrating fire. Middle name, babe. Middle name. Yes, heart. Come on. I'll tell you. Avocado. Bella, what is new screen name? Not new screen name? I got you all. All right, I'll turn it down. What are we talking about tonight, guys? I'm doing cards for sure. Hey, Tiffany girl. Oh, wait for it. Wait for it. I like this song is so anchored in me for like so much energy. I'll tell you the name. Just wait for it. I'm so much energy tonight. It's ridiculous. Yes, Tiffany. Love you, baby girl. What are we talking about tonight, guys? Oh my God, that's like my new favorite. So yes, I totally went to this like 3-day amazing badass entrepreneurial event and that was like the theme song. And so of course, all of that energy is now anchored into the song and that's been on replay for like the last 3 days. All right, let's give me a second. Let's check what up YouTube. All right, all systems go. What's up? What's up? I am Lauren Miller. I see a bunch of new people who just jumped on. Give some love, give some hearts. And what questions are we talking about? Relationships today? Yes, I'm going to throw some cards. If you are new, give some hearts. Tell me if you're new. What up? This is Soul Circle. My name is Sarah Delane, the Conscious Lifestylist. I do this every Tuesday. Have been for over 2 years now at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this is one badass collective tribe of spiritual badasses. Okay. Hi, Sona, and I apologize if I can never really read your guys' handles because it's super tiny. Interesting. All right. I see some dope questions coming in on relationships. Ooh, these are good. Emrod Realty. I always say your handle wrong, babe. Hi, love. Good to see you again. So much energy today. Oh my God, my brain is on fire. I want this one. That's our fire card. Shall we turn over the fire card now? Udi, hi, love. Anybody want me to turn over? I was like, brain is on fire. Card wants to pop out. Do I turn it over now or do we wait until the end? Now or end? Now or end? Oh, wait. And I see more questions coming in. I love it. Yes, we want now. Yes, we want now. Yes, I love you guys. Woo! Fuck yes. Sea of love. See, can you guys see that? I know it's backwards on YouTube and I think it's backwards on YouTube and Instagram. Okay, but it says Sea of Love. Look at that badass goddess. Okay, come on. Let's go now. Let's go. All your nows. Sea of love with brain on fire and all of this. I want this one too. So much fire energy. Lots of really positive things happening for sure. And then, with lots of fire, there's some not always seemingly positive things that happen, but we have to remember always, 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 and this came up really big for me this week too. We have to remember that everything is happening for us, not to us. It's all for the greater somehow collective to bring up all the shit so that then we can weed it out kind of in the wash, see who your true tribe is, see who your tribe is not, see the truths coming out. Right? Checking where you are coming from love and where you are coming from not love. Right? It's real easy, man. Okay, I want that one too. Thank you. It is real easy to slip, yes, hearts. It is so easy to slip back into old ways of being, back into victim mentality, back into gossip, back into thinking the worst of things, thinking the worst of people. Super, super easy to do that. Not always so easy. We're calling it microdosing love because we don't fucking need drugs for this. As long as we can microdose love and come from the heart as much as possible. Shout out to one of my best girls, Erica. We talk about this all the time. Just are you dosing yourself? So I call it microdosing, right? Microdosing love. Where can you in every moment remember to get back into heart and not come from head? If it's all up here, it's fear, it's ego, it's junk, it's past programming, it's whatever the fuck. Yes, hearts. Get back down into the heart. And what would you speak from here? And maybe you wouldn't speak. Maybe you would hold an emotion and hold center, right? Sometimes when we speak, it messes shit up. Truth. Yes, cool. All right. Let me shuffle these one more time and then pull one more out. At the end, we've got 3 and 4. Okay, cool. So that'll be for this week. And if you guys are new, I've been doing my Sacred Rebels deck for a long time. And then just the last couple weeks, I don't know why, just call it intuition. I've been really, really inspired by this golden path. And I love the artwork. So I have been doing that. Lead with the heart. We need both, okay, for sure. Because sometimes you can lead with your heart, and I can get you in lots of trouble too. I've done that way too many times. So you need a little bit of reason. You need a little bit of logic, okay? Because your heart will take you into crazy town. Absolute crazy town. Sometimes, right? So I'm just saying, you need the balance for sure. But yes, if you are too much in the head, where are you speaking from and where are you acting from? If you're too much in the head and you have no heart, then that's out of balance. If you're too in the heart and not enough head, that's out of balance, right? Hello, quadruple Libra over here. Everything is balanced for me. As it should be for everybody. Okay, so let me scroll back up because I saw some questions coming. You guys, I've been running literally a mile a minute all day. So my brain is going, no filter tonight. No idea what I'm going to say. Because it's just been going all day in a really, really, really great way. Some things that are scaring me in a really great way. Stuff. Okay, before I forget, super quick while I'm searching for questions in here. If you guys have not signed up for the second date on the 25th, I believe it's Saturday, Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, for making up with money, shifting your relationship with money. Oh my God, I'm totally over delivering on this thing. There's so many amazing slides on breaking through different belief systems, your actions that you're taking, setting up your goals for 2020 and how to actually plan that out and manifest that out. It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm super excited. If you haven't signed up for that, the link is in the bio. It's $99, super easy. Let's shift your whole relationship around money, finances, how you're showing up with that, and what's showing up for you in 2020. So, quick little thing before I forget about that. All right, what do we got? What up, James? everybody's got this flu. Everybody. There's so many people, this 3-day event, everybody had it. It keeps going around. I'm still taking my wellness stuff because I don't want to get it again. Sarita, so needed this. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, baby. Okay. 20 and 30-year friendships. What are we talking about, Bella? All because of money on the one hand and my pursuit of truth. What the heck? Universe is purging for me, I think. Shoot, babe, was there a beginning part of that question? Let me see. Sorry, give me a second, guys. We're getting there. I didn't see the beginning part of that question. Lots of things are going to purge right now. We're the beginning of the year. We're still in this sort of window of the eclipse. Wait, no. Didn't we just have like the second eclipse or something like that? I don't know. I'm not the astrologer. Okay? Go check your trusted astrologers. That's what my friends are for that. But we're also, just think about it, we're in January. Okay? We're also coming up on the new moon. So everything, so that means that we're still in the energy of the full moon, which means clear out everything. That's what I mean by it is like game on this year. 2020 is game on for who are your solid relationships? Who are the people who are going to stick by you, say good things about you, with you, for you, empower you? Like the ones who aren't full of shit or harboring underlying shit that like aren't really your friends, like the weird competitive crap, like all of that is coming now up to the surface to see like the truth. And that can be super, super painful and not fun at all. And yet at the same time, it can be a blessing because now more than ever, we want the utmost of people with integrity and abundant mindset, abundance of love, abundance of consideration, just whether that's friendships, business, anything and everything, romantic partners, all of the above. We're so over the BS. We're all over it. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows, right? And it's just like, no, thank you. So consider it a blessing if those things are happening. Again, totally doesn't feel good. And yet it's game on. We want like the solid tribe around us, right? Soul circle, like, you know how we roll here. It's like anybody who comes in like talking negativity, it's like, no, that's not what we do here. Remembering that no matter what's happening in your life, if there's negativity or people are acting negative in a weird, whatever kind of twisted way, they're just trying to get love in that form. You don't always have to get love, or you don't have to always be around people like that, getting love in that way. That being said, it's game on, right? So stepping into the level of person that you need to be, that next level of person that you need to be, and calling everybody else into that same level, right? And seeing who's not showing up with that. They don't want to, that's totally cool, right? But never bringing yourself down just because of how other people are acting, right? Thanks for the reminder. Dope, you're welcome. That means it's happening. Is that what's up? Okay. How do you not be afraid of abandonment? Okay. Who's resonating with abandonment? I swear to God, not God, but I swear. I feel like everyone's sort of first abandonment that we ever experienced, because we've all had the exact same one, and I swear that's when we came out of the womb. It's like all of a sudden we were in this cozy, comfy place, and then we got shot into this dimensional reality of just cold, and somebody smacked us on the ass, and it was just like this abrupt shift and in state and environment. And all of a sudden we were torn from something comfortable into an environment that was something completely different. And whatever feeling that might have brought up, you may not consciously remember because they're tiny little things, right? But I believe that was our first sort of abandonment feeling, was when we came out of the womb. So how to not be afraid of abandonment. If you're new, many of you guys have heard me say this so many times, but what are you making it mean? So whatever is happening, right? This obviously is not, when you're that little, your mind hasn't developed at all. It's not even considering meaning whatsoever when you're an absolute infant, right? But you had an emotion, you had an experience of this state of abandonment, right? So now that you're older, whatever the situation is that's happening, right? Give some hearts if you guys have ever had a feeling or a relationship where you felt abandoned. Maybe you were in the relationship and you still felt abandoned, right? How people say like the worst kind of loneliness is when you're in a relationship and you feel alone. We got to work so much harder on not relationships. We don't need to work on relationships. We don't need to work on love itself. There's enough love. We have enough love in this world. We need to work on how we're relating. We need to work on how we're giving and receiving love. Love is abundant. It is an energy that is and will be forever. It's happening all the time. But how we're using it and how we're relating with each other with it, how we're working with this energy, that's what we got to get better on, right? No matter where you're at. You might be a really amazing empath, and we still got to work on how we're loving and treating each other, right? So I will often say, whenever there's a fear, right, or not being afraid of something, then it means that you're up in the head, and if you're up in the head, then you're making a meaning out of something. So what are you, yes, hearts. So what are you making, whatever situation this is for you, Lauren, or anybody who's ever felt that feeling of abandonment, whether you're in a relationship, out of a relationship, when you were young, older, no matter what age, whatever the situation, what did you make that mean? You feel badass enough to put it in the comments? I would love to read it, right? But whenever we have a fear, we're always making it mean something. We're usually making it mean the absolute worst thing about ourselves. And we have to remember that no matter what anybody else's behavior, no matter what they're doing, their behavior is not a reflection of us. It is a reflection of them, their past wounds, their past experiences, their past traumas, their subconscious programming, their belief systems, their filters. I could go on. It's not a reflection of you. It is a reflection of them. That is the hardest thing in that moment, absolutely, because we're human and we feel. And in that moment, you're feeling abandoned and you're making it mean that maybe you're not good enough, whatever it is, right? And shifting that belief system and saying, no, that's not true is the quickest way out of that. Getting in touch with your emotions and saying, this is not the emotion that I want to experience. Stop, drop, and love that shit into the emotion that you want to be having. It literally takes 2.5 seconds. You can shift in 2.5 seconds when you're committed to that. I'm going to say something that might trigger people, and I hope it does, because that means you need to hear it. If it's difficult for you to shift into that, if for whatever reason you don't want to shift into that, if you're staying in the upset emotion, it means that you're choosing it and that you're holding on to it because it's giving you something. You get to have something, even if it seems negative. And that's where we have to get super, super real and truthful with ourselves, because that's what's going to keep you in that state, as opposed to letting it go and moving into the desired emotional state that you want. That's just truth. That's emotional mastery. That's the 1 + 1 = 2 equation of how emotional mastery works. I can't say it any differently. And again, if it totally triggers you, it means that there is something there that you're not wanting to give up on. What is that saying? What is that emotion saying? Ask it. What is that like? Whatever emotion's coming up. Maybe it's hurt. Maybe it's not upset, right? Whatever it is, what is that emotion saying? Emotion is energy in motion. We've heard that so many times. Energy has a voice to it. So you can literally be in communication and be in relationship with the voice of the emotion. Pull it out of you if you want to, and then have a conversation with it. It sounds crazy, but it totally works. And whatever that voice is, that's the message that that emotion is trying to communicate to you. Give some hearts if that resonates, if that makes sense. I know it makes sense. I know you guys hear it. Okay. Did that answer that question too? Give me some hearts if that answered that question for you guys. Very cool. Partner supports while pursuing passions. Okay, I don't know if that's a question. Hopefully your partner supports you. Yes, hearts, dope. Hopefully you have a partner that supports you going after your passions as you would with them. If not, have that conversation. You're going to communicate more too. All right, let me, truth. Hang on. Do you have the Spanish guy back from last time? Is that what's happening? Hang on. I'm going to date women and in 2020, feel like giving it a shot. Badass. Go for it. Awesome. Whatever makes you happy, mama. Like, slay that. Awesome. Okay. 2 long-term. Oh, Bella. Okay. 2 long-term friends of 6 months. The oldest people in my life besides my parents were able to turn on me. Seeing how this can be for the best, though. Okay. Totally, because you're in the middle of it. There's this, my girlfriend posted this. I think I'm going to end up posting it, right? Where it was like this meme where it said, my mom told me, I'm going to butcher it. My mom told me that people will act like you're a bad person when it was something like when they feel guilty for what they did or when they knew that they did something to you and then they have to act like you're the bad person, right? So if there's guilt, if there's shame, this is on their side. If there's guilt, if there's shame, we don't know them. We don't know what they're going through, right? And they're not in Soul Circle right now. So we're speculating. We're being very intuitive to whatever is going on for them, right? But whatever's coming up in that situation, you're saying they were able to turn on you. I first like to do a pros and cons list, okay? Just to be super like congruent with myself and my behavior, right? To just bring full consciousness to every situation in how maybe I might have shown up versus how they might be showing up, right? Because communication, we like to say that it's 50-50 and it's not. It's 100-100. So if you say something to somebody and it doesn't land, that's 100% your responsibility. They say something to you and it doesn't land the way that they want it to, that's 100% their responsibility, right? We also have to take responsibility for 100% of our listening and being aware of how we're listening because of the filters that we have. And by filters, I mean all the different experiences that we've made meanings of throughout our life, that now when somebody says that one word and all of a sudden you fly off the fucking handle because it's relating not to them and this experience, but to 20 different experiences that you've had in the past. That being said, take a pros and cons list, right, of how you've shown up in the situation, just so that we can be like fully have full congruent, right? This goes for everybody. So you can be fully congruent and integral in, okay, how did I show up with whatever situation that then they decided to turn on, when they decided to turn on, right? How did you show up? Did you say something? Did maybe your tone, right? Your energy speaks before your words ever do. So your intentions, something, right? Just check on yourself and be like, I don't know, did I do anything? Right? Not to put blame 100% on, because we can do that as empaths like you, right? You take it all on yourself and then kick yourself or whatever, right? It's 100 on both sides. That being said, how did you show up? You don't have to answer that. Nobody has to answer that. But at the same time, just taking account for what that is for you. Then on the flip side, be like, okay, how did they show up? And what meanings, we have to remember perspective. So what meanings are you making about it? And what meanings could they have possibly made about maybe certain behavior that you had that is maybe causing an upset? We very rarely put ourselves in the perspectives of the other person because the ego doesn't like doing that. And not everybody has that consciousness. Not everyone has that awareness. Not everybody wants to do that. That's why it triggers some people. And yet, conscious relating, conscious communication absolutely demands those in order to be effective. So putting yourself in the other perspectives, you can't guarantee that they're going to put themselves in your perspective. You can't guarantee what anybody's going to do. So it's just taking sort of an assessment on both sides. And when you feel congruent that you've looked at all sides, you're going to see something completely new. Because now you're taking yourself out of just your perspective and you're putting yourself in theirs. And then even if you can, come to a higher perspective and see all sides to the equation. And you're going to see something completely new and different. I don't know what that's going to be. Everybody's totally different, right? And you might be able to see the silver lining, the best through the whole situation, whatever that's going to be, because each person's situation is going to be individually different, right? But there's always, if we take the perspective that everything is happening for you and not to you, there is a best in there. I don't know why, but there is a best somewhere in there. Okay. Give some hearts if that resonates. And I will say at the same time, though, right, because it sucks. Totally sucks. I'm not here to tell anybody that it doesn't suck and that it doesn't hurt. It hurts really, really bad. I have had personally weird experiences with crazy people. It seemed totally crazy. When I lived in Sedona, especially, crazy people that turned and made it all like it was just very projecting, right? I had other friends who just all of a sudden made it like I was a bad person because of some trigger that they had within that was their trigger, and I don't even know what that is, and I don't need to know what that is. But all of a sudden, then I was a bad person. So sometimes when people don't want to see something within themselves, they will project it onto you. And that sucks. That absolutely sucks. The best is that they showed who they truly are, and that then maybe you don't need to be so close with that person. You can be polite, you can be still loving, but they don't have to be the closest person to you anymore, right? And that sucks if it's family, or I think you said it was friends, right? For a really long time. Yeah, and that absolutely sucks. When your energy starts shifting, not everybody will go along with that energy. Some people will vibrate out, especially if they're still in the mindset of judgment and finger pointing and right and making others wrong. Like for instance, however they're making you wrong, that energy will keep someone at a much lower vibration. So if you're in Soul Circle, it means that you are up for the game and the lifestyle of living consciously. That means ever growing in conscious awareness, bringing patterns and programming to the forefront so that you can be in a power position of your life, taking full power and responsibility for who you are and the next level that you are and becoming. Not everybody wants that. Not everybody is up for that game. And so as you shift in that vibration, it doesn't make one bad or wrong or better or worse. That's not what we're saying. What we are saying is vibrationally, it doesn't connect anymore. But negative and lower vibrational thinking, judgment and projections stays at a certain level. And it is a lower vibrational level. Without judgment of it, it's a lower vibration. And so when you're up to choosing to become more and more conscious, these energies don't match anymore. If you're choosing to microdose from your heart rather than just your head, these energies don't match anymore. So naturally, when you're in a relationship, right? Friendship, business, right? You meet eye to eye. If you're not meeting eye to eye, you're not meeting energy to energy, there's a giant gap there. So naturally, the vibrations are just going to shift out. And when that happens, usually the people who are staying in the vibration of judgment and projecting and finger pointing will make you the bad person because they don't know why that situation is happening. You can rise above and see from a higher perspective why this situation is happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that they can, right? So consider it that you are actually shifting in conscious vibration. That should be the best. Feels like crap when you're going through it, and yet at the same time, would you rather stay at a lower vibration where they are your friends, or would you rather rise in consciousness and vibration and meet other badass friends at a level that is where potentially you're wanting to vibrate more often? Which one would you rather do? Because you'll have friends at every level. You will have romantic relationships at every level. You will have business partners at every level. It's just what level do you want to have partnerships? Relating ships. Hearts. Yes. Okay. Yes, hearts. Hey, Holly. Holly, did you go on a date last week? Katie might have been mentioning something. Hi, Mama. Can't wait to get back to focusing on my spiritual growth. Girl, don't even tell me that you sidetracked, Tiffany. I appreciate you. So inspired by you. I love you, girl. What do you mean get back to focusing on your spiritual growth? Stay in your emotional alignment, girl. I know you know how to do that. Come on. Making it mean I'm not lovable. Okay, so that goes back to the abandonment thing, right? That's a comment one. That I'm not lovable. Give some hearts if you guys have ever had the internal dialogue or fear that you're not lovable and that's why people leave you. Give some hearts on that one. I've totally had that one. 100%. Right? Not lovable. You're either too much or not enough or weird. I am totally weird. Yes, hearts. And it doesn't mean that. We make it mean that. We take on that it means that. That's choice, which means you can choose to let it go. That's your power. Power is always in choice. Yes, hearts on that. What if it's the thought creating the yucky emotion? I love you guys' hearts. What if it's, okay, Laura. Hi, babe. I love it. Okay. Is this helpful, guys? Give some hearts on this. If this is, feel free to take a picture, and I want you to put in what your biggest takeaway was. I love seeing those and share it in the stories. That would be super, super badass. Okay. Okay, what if it's the thoughts creating the yucky emotion? I've tackled this before. I'm going to tackle this super, super quick. Chicken or the egg? I've spent hours in meditation trying to determine which one comes first, the thought or the emotion. To no solid conclusion other than they go hand in hand, and it doesn't matter which one happens first, because if they are what's the right word? They like flip-flop with each other, right? If there is a thought, there's a negative thought, you will surely then have a negative emotion. So if the thought is, I'm not lovable, let's just use that as an example, or whatever the negative thought is, then surely that will have a negative emotion of fear, upset, yearning, like, I don't know, what's something deeper than that? I'm not in a low mood right now. I can't even think of something. Okay, but I'm not lovable feels like shit, right? Or you could be experiencing a negative emotion as often empaths do. Some of them are not yours. Some of them you are walking through fields of emotions based on the ley lines that are across the whole planet. I've talked about that in some previous videos quite a lot. But there's basically ley lines, and I believe they are carriers of vibration. Emotion is vibration. So these emotions are on these ley lines. You're walking down the street and you're in a badass mood, and then all of a sudden, like, you cross over a ley line that's got some negative emotion in it, and now you're in a bad mood. And now that emotion, whatever that negative emotion is, then creates a negative thought, right? And then this is how it takes 90 seconds it takes 90 seconds to stop the flow of the thought to the emotion or the emotion to the thought. 90 seconds can be a really long time when energy happens instantaneously. So if you can track the emotion that's coming up and then track the thought that you're having, or hear the internal dialogue and the thought that you're having and then track the emotion that gets created from that, you can actually feel yourself flip-flopping between the negative thoughts and the emotions. Because you'll have one negative thought that creates a negative emotion, which then will create another negative thought and another negative emotion, and it'll keep flip-flopping like that. Or, like I said, if you start with a negative emotion, then you'll have a negative thought, and then which one did it start with? Either way, it doesn't matter which one it starts with, it'll flip-flop and continue creating more and more. Now you're in a hamster wheel of negativity, and now you're going down a rabbit hole. And it is stop, drop, love yourself out of the rabbit hole. Otherwise, that is what we call spiral. And nobody's happy with that. That's where you get into fight, flight, and freeze because you're in this loop. When you can stop the train from happening, count to 90 seconds, drop into your heart, count to 90 seconds, and then choose the emotion that is closer to love that will keep you out of the hamster wheel of the negativity. If you're really badass, you can then shift in that moment, create a positive one. If you can hear it and you can track it like a badass, conscious emotional mastery, you can then say a positive thought. This is the area that I'm like, I don't care which one happens first, the chicken or the egg. However, you guys have all heard me say that emotion is stronger than mindset. That is my belief. I know mindset's really popular. We still need it, absolutely. But emotion, the energy of emotion is stronger than the thought. So if you can start with a positive emotion, move yourself into that different state, then your thoughts will automatically follow suit. It is much harder to start with a positive thought and move yourself into the belief of that emotion. So that's why we have emotional alignment, is find the emotion that is positive for you, anchor that shit in your body. There's specific techniques on how to do that. And then it makes it as easy as touching a button. So the minute that you're in that hamster spiral, you can literally like touch the button, reactivate, if you will, or realign to your positive emotion, which will then automatically trigger positive thoughts. You can't be in a positive emotion and have a negative thought. It's 100% impossible. If you do, you will cancel it out and move into a negative emotion. Is that fair? Does that make sense? It's not possible. If you are in like positive, happy, let's go, even if you're just smiling and you're not saying anything, this automatically activates like serotonin and a bunch of other awesome chemicals in your brain, right? Serotonin, dopamine, everything, just from smiling. Smiling and standing upright, you automatically shift into a state that is not depressed. If you can do that, when you can do that, everything else follows suit. It's how we're humanly wired. Does that make sense? Humanly, that's how we're wired. Give some hearts if that resonates. If that's helpful. Solid. Okay, cool. What's up, Tenny? Let me scroll down for a second. Hey, Holly. Is it best to remain silent and let a friendship slip away when you're the one they always go off on because they don't know you're not one to react or speak up? That's a good question. So if somebody is always going off on you, that's not a healthy dynamic. Because they're all like, oh, duh. Okay. You always I'm going to always say, do what is best for you. However, I'm somebody that's like, if they're going to react in a certain way, right? Like I'll call it out in a really nice way. And because maybe they're having a bad day, you know, give people like we're human, right? We have experiences. Maybe they're having a bad day, whatever. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. If it continues happening where then you start maybe becoming what feels like the emotional punching bag for people and be like, this isn't cool. Nobody wants an apology anymore. This was another meme. What was it? Nobody wants an apology anymore, right? Changed behavior is the ultimate apology. Changed behavior is the ultimate apology. Words are just words. They're vibration. They disappear. They mean shit. Nobody cares anymore. Shifting in behavior is like, hey, wow, acknowledgement and then shifting in behavior. You can totally say I'm sorry, but it's like acknowledgement and shifting in behavior that's how, again, we're getting back to relating and how we're relating with each other. So I would totally call it out and be like, hey, you're not relating with me in a way that is the type that I would like to experience. If you communicate that and then give them an opportunity to shift, that's true love and relationship. If you just kind of like don't say anything, then you're actually taking the opportunity away from them to shift their behavior or even have an awareness that it's something that they're doing. Because sometimes when we're stuck in our own shit and we don't know what we did or we don't know that it had an effect on somebody. So if you don't tell them, then you're taking their opportunity away to have that awareness and to shift it. So it doesn't mean you have to be a bitch about it, right? And I know you wouldn't anyway, right? But I'm just saying, yeah, I would absolutely say something. If you're not wanting to, then what is it about you not wanting to say something? Is there some withholding in you? Is there, I'm just going to call you out, girl, because I don't know, but I love you. And, you know, I talk straight anyway. So I'm not necessarily saying this is you, but this is whoever needs to hear this right now. Is there some, when we don't want to speak up for ourselves, is there some fear that we'll be yelled at more, right? Does that come from a time when we got yelled at when we were young, right? Like what is the essence of you not wanting to speak up and have that conversation? Is there resistance around potential conflict, even though if you're saying it with love, it's not conflict, right? Like what is the reason why you wouldn't want to open that conversation and communicate how they're showing up and how that's making you feel, right? That's what you would definitely want to look at. Because at that point, then there's two different things happening. That might be why their behavior is showing up that way in your life so that you can then step into that position of speaking up for yourself and standing up for yourself. And certain people's behavior, whether it's that person or another person, that becomes your lesson. That behavior in different people would still continue to show up in your life to teach you the lesson to stand up for yourself and communicate from a really powerful and yet loving way, right? So we have to always look at, why is something coming into my reality? What do I need to learn in this moment that this particular dynamic is showing up? I've had to check that even a couple times where I'm like, I don't know, I had somebody say something like random, just not nice thing. And I was just like, really? Like, what did that? I think it was like shopping or something. And some lady was just like being a bitch. She might have just been crazy. I was like, why is this in my field, right? Why is this energetically in my field? I take full, I don't know how we feel about the word responsibility. I take on that I am the powerful, conscious creator of my reality. Should you take that on? then everything that's showing up in your reality is on some level a similar energy to what could be going on within. I may have shared this story, and I won't get into the whole story, right? But I may have shared it in a couple previous videos. But I realized that day I was kind of beating up on myself. I was kind of like I was not in my highest self. I was not in, I was definitely in the lower human. I was not in the higher human or higher consciousness at all, right? I was having a bad day. I was in a bad emotion, right? I was totally choosing it, right? It was full transparency. And I was totally kicking myself. I was totally beating up on myself, right? I'm really good at that. I've been good at that my whole life. It's an ongoing thing for me. Give some hearts if you all resonate with that one. If you ever kick yourself or beat up on yourself for doing even the tiniest thing, right? Living with my grandmother, I just blame it on that. She's dead, so I can blame it on her. She's where I believe that I get my sort of perfectionitis from, right? Because she would make me go through these drills of reading my lines and my script for acting. And she'd be like, you better do it again. You better do it this way. You better get it right. You better do it. Like, it was constant. It was literally like a drill sergeant. And at 13, and so that ingrained in me, like, okay, it's got to be perfect. It's got to, like, I have to do it again. I have to do it again, right? It's never good enough. It's never good enough. So that being said, I will kick myself, right? It's never good enough. And I have to track that for myself. That's on me. And again, give some hearts if you resonate with that too. Maybe I'm the only one in the room. And that particular day I was doing that. And so because I was doing that within my own field, it showed up in my external reality. It showed up in my echo. You set the tone. Everything outside of you is the echo. So it showed up in my echo in the form of some crazy lady that said something really nasty to me so that I could hear what I was saying to myself. I say that not so that then you can continue kicking yourself by why did some crazy lady, or why did this friend say this to me, or why did this friend treat me this way, or whatever, not so that we can then say, oh, we're not lovable, or oh, we're not good enough. Why is this person treating me this way? But so that we can say, how is it that we might be treating ourselves? Because we know that we're not such good friends to ourselves all the time. Just real talk. We're not. There's so many times where we're like, wow, would you let somebody talk to you the way that sometimes you talk to you in your own mind? And yet we're human and we do it. And so it's having compassion for self. It's having compassion for what is your friend treating you maybe that way, because maybe that's how you might have been treating yourself that particular day or whatever. Solid hearts on that one. We have to remember when we're talking about relating and how we're relating, there's enough love, there's abundance of love, but how we are relating and utilizing this energy of love, it's not just with other people in our lives. It is 100%, and it always starts with us first. And if we're not good friends to ourselves, we will attract people to show us that reflection and maybe not show up as such good friends to us. And we're like, why do we have these asshole friends? Yes. Just reminders. You guys already know this. The repetition. You got to just keep microdosing every day. More love for yourself. More treating yourself the way that you want others to treat you. And bringing consciousness to that. Because since it's happening within, it's so much easier to see somebody else treating you a certain way and be like, oh my God, point the finger out and be like, they're treating me this certain way, right? Because it's in front of your face. We are not in front of our own face. That's why we don't always see how we treat ourselves. And yet, if we remember that they're showing up as a reflection, then it is in front of our face. How we are treating ourselves is in front of our face. Does that make sense if I say it that way? That's how we get to see, not to blame them, not to shame however anybody is being, but being like, wow, are they speaking to me in a way that maybe I've been speaking to myself? And when I can shift that within, then all of that completely disappears. That's when other people start vibrating right out of your life. That has happened. So many people are like, are you not friends with that person anymore? Are they not friends with you? It's like, they just vibrated out. Wasn't it the same vibe tribe? Love, but just, right? Okay. Does that resonate? That makes sense. Right out. Yes. Yes, exactly. That really resonated. Okay, cool. But now you do, let's see, what does it mean to see your past insecurities show up in the person you start to date that you didn't realize made a past lover run, but now you do? That's solid, girl. Okay. What does it mean to say, what do you mean, what does it mean? Baby, you know better than that. What does it mean? What does it mean? What are you making it mean? Don't ask me what I'm making it mean. This is on you. So what are you making it mean to see your past insecurities show up in the person that you start to date that you didn't realize made a past lover run? You know the answer to this one. That's a great question. You're going to tell me that I learned it. Laugh out. Okay, then that's what it means. Solid. Good. That was easy. Fastest question I ever answered. You already knew that. Always ask yourself, what are you making it mean? What are you making it mean? That will get you out of so many arguments. So many arguments. If you just stop in the middle and be like, what am I making this mean? And then just shit. All right. Guys, okay. Stay. All right, let's do some cards. Helpful? Yes. Okay. So we had the Sea of Love. That was the fire card before. Okay. So now we got, okay. Love the art on this. Ooh, okay. 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 What did I say about fire? Jesus Christ. Okay. Ooh, we got the cover photo. The Golden Path Within. Fucking Vanna White over here. Wow, that's so old school. That was straight up Wheel of Fortune. I told you I lived with my grandmother. That was her favorite show. I'm not that big of a nerd. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, The Golden Path Within. No offense, anybody who likes Wheel of Fortune. The Golden Path Within. Okay, introspection. You must go within. You must be able to, this is 100% what we're talking about. You have to be able to see your own patterning. You have to track your inner thoughts. You have to be able to have that emotional mastery to say, okay, how am I feeling right now? Communicate with that emotion, if you will. Blindfold yourself one day if you need to, right? I still remember that, the whole Power of Becoming, Holly, you know this. So the Power of Becoming course that I created, the theme sort of picture, she was blindfolded. Because the whole purpose of when you blindfold, you stop looking outside of you. You stop looking outside of you for the answers. You stop looking outside of you to point the finger and blame. Not enough do we close our eyes and go within. Only if you're actually sitting down and meditating. It's one of the true benefits of meditating, because you are closing your eyes, which allows you, forces you actually, gently, so I don't mean force like that, but to have introspection, true introspection, and track your thoughts, track the fucking monkey brain, track the emotions that are coming up. Just track it. Just start bringing awareness to it. That's what consciousness is all about, is bringing whatever you're not consciously observing and bringing that in front of you so that you can actually have the awareness. So the Golden Path Within, you're going to get all of your answers from there. You're going to access, the more that you go within, the higher states of consciousness that you reach, right? That's the as above, so without, so below, as within, so without. So that's the golden path within. Must go within. Consciousness doesn't happen without that. It's not in a book. It's not in a video, right? These are all messages of go within. Self-love, message, go within. Living a conscious lifestyle, message, go within. Everything, basically, just go within. Did we get this one last time? When you can do that, I love the sequence that they all go into, right? The inspired warrior. That's what's inspired, right? The inspired warrior. The going within allows, as I mentioned, the access to the higher states of consciousness. That is your higher self, or your next highest self that is above you. Inspiration comes from there. When you have a thought, that's not just a thought, like a positive thought, like an idea, like a creative idea, right? It doesn't just come from your mind. It's actually coming from your higher self's inspiration, which is in alignment with your higher self's heart. So it's the passion, it's the love state. It's the microdosing of your higher self's heart that then activates this image in your mind that formulates in a thought, in an idea, in a concept, right? That's the inspired warrior. Are you going to tap into that inspiration and let that flow through you, hitting all of your channels all the way down and activating at your center point to then create your divine destiny, whatever that is on this planet? In order for that, so awesome. Flame of inspiration. Like, please not go fucking hand in hand. Flame of inspiration, or inspired warrior, flame of inspiration. And all of this, talk about fire. All of the energy down here is your fire, your passion, your drive. Being an inspired warrior, you need that flame of inspiration. I'm saying, yes, the inspiration is coming from that higher center, right? That higher divine self that when you can get connected to will stream through your centers. Should you remove all of the obstacles of the programming, all of the blocks that you've put around your heart to not microdose love on a daily basis, and removing all the blocks from your solar plexus so it can actually activate the fire of inspiration so that your fucking drive can create the level of being that you're meant to truly be. Okay. You can't buy this shit, which leads to your creativity, your ultimate creativity. Creating your purpose, whatever it is that you feel like you're called here to be and do, become, achieve, that ultimate level of creativity. It's also feminine energy, that ultimate level of creativity. That's what's up for this week. So much fire. Jesus. Love you guys so much. If you want to shift your relationship with money and the energy of abundance and learning the 5 tools, the 5 main tools for financial freedom, the 25th, it's coming up in a couple days. Sign up for it for the link in my bio. I love you guys. There's going to be a huge announcement at the end of that I'm so excited about. This month is about to pop off. This whole year is about to pop off. I love you guys all so much for always tuning on to Soul Circle. Mwah. I will see you next week. Subscribe to the website also, please, because this replay will not be here. You will be watching it on the blog. So please go to Soul Circle Collective and subscribe so that you can have access to that. Making Up with Money happens on the 25th. And also please subscribe to the blog so you can watch the replay. I love you guys. Mwah. See you next week. Bye, YouTube.